Okay, action for determination of closed section. Item 4, item A, sabbatical leave request, EID number 3248. Action was to deny the request. Motion by Karis. Second by Winslet. All in favor? Aye. Okay, recording of this meeting is being made and shall be kept for 30 days as a public record. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I'll let you do this.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. I am here. Mario's here. Mr. Vincent is here. Adrian is here. Madison is here. Do I have a motion? So move the agenda. Thank you, Madison. Second by Brendan.
On the agenda, you got 2 consent items, 8, G and H, will be done separately, please.
So items G and H will be voted on separately from the consent items. And J. No, G and H.
G and H, yes, G and H.
Yep. All in favor for that? Aye. Thank you. Comments from the public? None. Okay, interview applicants for provisional appointment to the Board of Trustees. Hello. How are you guys doing? So,
I can just sort of front load what we're going to do. We have in this basket 18 questions because I was assuming you would be 6 this evening. So you're not going to all answer 18 questions. You'll each answer 3 questions, and the questions will not go back in the basket. So if everything works out as it should, there should be 3 questions left in this basket. They're all different. They all pertain to board member, concerns and qualities, why you're here this evening. So we'll just start with Ms. Brendan to ask the first question. And I don't know the better way than you guys just pass this little basket, just draw a question from the basket. And Ms. Brendan, you can start with Mr. McKay. Perhaps we need to, let's let yes, let's do some introductions.
Joe McKay.
Corey Davis.
Justin Ray. Brandon Clay.
Gene Melchers.
Yes, I'm sorry. You will each be given 2 minutes to answer the question. So my advice would be to focus in on doing just that. Thank you.
So she has.
No, you read one question for
Okay.
Mr. McKay.
Okay, Mr. McKay, why are you running for the school board? If elected, what will be your priorities?
Education is the cornerstone of our community. These students are going to be our future leaders, community leaders, state leaders, federal leaders, leaders of industry. And with the state lowering the bar to get people out of school, I think we need to raise the bar. And I would fight and be their advocate to get the resources, hire the best teachers, hire the best classified, after school programs, give them the resources to succeed. I don't think we should be lowering the bar. I think we should be challenging them and raising the bar. Like my skill set, I think I would complement the board and be a good advocate for our students and make the school district the best district on the valley.
Thank you.
This one is for
Ms. Davis.
Ms. Davis. Okay. Could you support a board decision you did not vote in favor of? Why or why not?
I believe that I could. I can't because I believe that we're all here because we want what's best for our students. And ultimately, even if I don't agree with the decision, I have to believe in the power of our board members in making sound decisions for our students and our families that we serve in this district.
What is your vision for education in our district?
The continued growth. Education is super important no matter what we do, right? You can be a public utility worker like I am, or you can be a mechanic, you can own a business. It's not just public service or public office or running for federal jobs. It's literally just providing for hopefully a family in the future, learning those are key for our kids' curriculum.
Oh, this is a long one. That was not intentional. Okay, board members serve on district committees. Some of the committees are board policies, construction, ethnic studies, curriculum, calendar, athletics, and budget. Which one of these committees would you select to serve on and why?
Well, it wasn't mentioned, but discipline is huge for me. Was that mentioned? Sorry.
No, I don't think it was.
If that is a committee, that's one that I would definitely be interested in, as well as budget, things like that. I feel like I could serve kind of anywhere. Last year, I worked at Abraham Lincoln and dealt with the suspended expulsions all year. That was my role. And I got to see that personally up close. And I really feel like I could make an impact there.
All we done?
All
Okay. Currently, the board may have currently the board may have meetings 2 to 3 nights per week, some weeks, ending at 9:30 p.m. Attendance is the expectation as meetings require a quorum. Are you able to pledge to this time commitment?
Yeah, you said they go till 9:30?
Sometimes.
That's okay with me, I don't mind that. What time do they normally start?
Depends. Could be 5, 5:30, 6.
I mean, I got a fairly flexible schedule. My boss works with me pretty well. You know, a lot of times I can go on early. That way I can get all my work done, so it's really not a problem for me.
Thank you.
Oh, that was slipping out the side, so we'll let that pass. We'll get it out of the way. How does the school board balance the need to provide a quality education with the need to respond to the local taxpayer or let me read it again. How does a school board balance the need to provide a quality education with the need to respond to the local taxpayer burden?
I think one word, transparency. You gotta be transparent in what we're doing and show that these kids have a high graduation rate, providing the resources for our students. And we're spending their money wisely. If we show the community that we're spending their money wisely, we're graduating kids at a high rate, they're going on to college at high numbers. You know, the community, I grew up here, the community will support the schools. They'll approve bond measures and stuff like that, but we gotta show that we're doing our job, being transparent and providing a quality product to our students.
What particular experiences and skills have prepared you to serve on this board?
Well, I am currently an administrator. I am a principal. I am also a CPE coordinator in a neighboring district. I'm a parent. I'm a parent of 3 SKUSD students. Being a parent in this district has definitely prepared me for this experience. In the fall, I'll have three at three different levels. So I'll have an elementary school student, a middle school student, and a high school student. I also have a spouse that works for the district as a teacher. And I feel like my perspective is one that this district definitely needs. I've had some experiences, some of them good experiences and others not so good, that has really pushed me into pursuing this. And it's not just a personal pursuit, it's a purposeful pursuit. I believe the students in this district and the families in this district deserve the very best. And my experiences, my personal experiences, I'm not a stranger to adversity. I know what it's like to go home and have to do homework with no electricity or running water. I have compassion for the students that I serve in my district, and also I have compassion for the students here in this district in our community. I think all of these experiences kind of have sculpted me into the perfect puzzle piece for this position. This is my life's work. This is what I do. Education is what I do. And I feel like my perspective is one that is definitely needed here in this district. And, especially with leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. And I feel like I can ask the right questions as a leader with my experience.
Thank you.
I'll do a short one. All right. What do you see as the primary work for the Board of Education?
So the Board of Education, as a collective, would work together to oversee the district. Really, we only have one pupil that's what you guys are really in charge of, and that's the superintendent. And then we trust the superintendent to fill positions, leadership roles, and then we oversee budget together as a collective. Budget's been a huge issue. Right now, inflation just went up even more. So the cost of goods are not only going to rise for the district, but they're going to rise for all the homeowners, all the parents, students. So our costs are going to go up as well. Just look to advocate and work together, figure out what we can do.
Question is to Mr. Is there a particular issue that motivates you to serve on the Board of Education?
Well, academic achievement is my number one issue, as was stated already. But, I've been doing a lot of research and a lot of my own academics as I'm pursuing my own education on the district. And some of the numbers are very, they're challenging to deal with. And I know you guys are doing the best that you can and have been doing, but I feel like I could also help with that. So academic achievement, CAS scores, standardized testing scores, A through G, expansion of things like CTE and vocational partnerships with the local community, things like that. Those are all very important to me. So those are the main focus, academic achievement, number one.
Mr. Melchers, what is the best way to address differences of opinion on the board or between the board and the administration?
The best way to voice your opinion about difference of opinions, I was saying?
You want me to repeat?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the best way to address differences of opinion on the board or between the board and administration?
Honestly, I have no idea. You're gonna have a difference of opinion, or at least you should. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been trying to, think of this all day long, and no idea what you're gonna throw at me, so.
That's actually a good answer.
Yeah.
This is back to Joe. What is the public relationship role of the board?
To foster kindness, commitment to the community, foster a good relationship with the parents, with the teachers, with the superintendent. And you gotta set the example. You have to set the example as a board that walk the walk and talk the talk, and set the example and foster the goodwill.
Okay. And what school district or community activity / organizations have you been involved?
So I can see myself, but, so I do work in the Mojave Unified School District. That's my school district. I am the adults coordinator for the district. I have also worked in East Lancaster as a middle school principal. I've worked as a teacher, a middle school teacher. I've worked very close to this community, and even beyond that in Oregon and also in San Bernardino. I've been in education for 18 years. So this is my life's work. This is what I do every day. I dream about it. I actually I have insomnia just thinking about the different issues that face our students that I serve in my district and our students here in this district. And so I feel like everything that I've done has been a push into my purpose, and this is my purpose. And I'm going to be here and I'm going to push for our students to have better. We have LCAP 2 and 3 focuses on having safe and welcoming environments for students. LCAP 3, safe and welcoming environments basically for our families. And I feel like those are the biggest areas of growth for our district, but they're the easiest to target. And it just takes kindness, it takes love, it takes care, and it comes from top to bottom, and we have to, just like was said, we have to walk the talk. We have to, if we as administrators want our students and our staff to use restorative practices, then we have to model that. Thank you.
Hang on with this. Okay. Mr. Wright. Okay. If a stakeholder, staff, parent, student, or community member presented a complaint to you, how would you handle it?
So if a complaint goes up front to me, but of course I invite them to our board here to where they can be considered. Being only a single board member, we're a collective of 5 on the board. And the reason that we do that is so that way if it's 3-2, yea or nay, it's not just one person's decision. A big goal of working as a team is to where my idea might not be as good as your idea or yours or anyone in this room's idea. And maybe we can actually fix the problems that they brought together.
How can the board support the leadership team effectively?
Board support the leadership team effectively. And by that, do you mean the leadership of school sites or the district? What leadership team is that there? Right.
Basically, support the leadership team. So means that there is a team of leaders.
Absolutely. I think that the board's most important pieces to that are, one, being clear and concise, having good policies that are very easily interpretable, And you also have to support and back up your leaders when they make those decisions. You have to trust them and you have to support them, especially publicly. And if there's issues, you talk about those and you grow people, but you have to support your leaders.
Mr. Mayor. What are your objectives and goals by joining the board?
I'd like to, like everybody else, like to make a difference. You know, wherever I can. Really don't know how to answer that. Not the best speaker. I want to make a difference, so I really got.
That's the last of the questions. Each one of you had 3 questions, correct? Darn, relax. Good job. Good job. So we have the decision. I felt like you guys answered the questions very well. You learned more about you, read your applications, of course.
Should we have to say a little about themselves?
We work out their bio. So,
Like next level stuff behind the wall.
All 5 of you have made it very tough to make a decision. You're all good candidates. And so
yeah, you guys are making it really tough.
you should.
Yeah,
You should.
you guys are all bring something different to the table. And that's what a board should be. No offense to our educators, but if you have all educators and no business people, I think that's bad, because one of our things that we have to do is financial. So there's always somebody that can bring that to the table. Discipline, like you said, we all have a different perspective on discipline. Leadership. Some people have a great stand in the community that can lead, or, I'm trying to figure, everybody has something different to bring to the table. And I'm looking at what we bring already here and what will enhance what we have at this time. In November, the community itself will have that chance to bring somebody forth that they think will represent their point of view. I'm looking at every one of you guys, and even though I know quite a few, it's hard for me to judge, because I see everybody brings something different. And JR, even though you can't speak in public very well, that's me. I don't speak well in public. This is because I know everybody, but it's hard. But what you have here and here, so that's my say on what we got here. So I know we have to pick someone.
I would like to say thank you to all of the applicants for your interest in becoming a part of the board. I myself was, I didn't actually have to do that. I just went down to Kern County and did it that way on the last day. And I waited in that office because I felt so strongly about it too, so. It takes a lot of courage to do what you're doing, and I appreciate that. I myself am ready to make a motion to nominate someone, so. Okay, I make a motion to nominate, Mr. Brandon Boyd.
I'll second that.
Okay. Does anybody feel like they have a session?
No?
No. All right, I'll call for a vote. So, do I have to read this part first? I have a motion by Brendan, second by Vince Lett, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
Everybody who did not get audited, please put it in the hat when it comes to this. So why?
We have to sign up for the entire.
Kern County to the office there and do all your paperwork and take your oath, and add your name to the list. I encourage you to, if you feel as strongly as you do, I encourage you. And I appreciate you coming out tonight.
Thank you, guys were all really good.
Thank you.
Thank you, this isn't the end.
Just at the beginning.
It's the beginning. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so,
We'll just stand.
yeah, administer the oath of the duly appointed official by Gaines.
There is say I want you to say your name now. You repeat after me. Okay, so should we go over here so we can see? Raise your right hand. Yes, thank you. I
I, Brendan Boyd,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution
that I will support and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and
California
the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, time to work. Item D, public employee discipline release. Mrs. Hargis.
Thank you. All right, so due to a complaint that was filed with the district and subsequent findings of said complaint, the district asks the Board of Trustees to approve a reassignment of employee number 2520 to a certificated teaching assignment for the 24-25 school year. So Madam President, could you please do a roll call vote on this item?
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So, you guys heard what she said, so I will take my vote first, right? Or should I go the other way? We'll start with Adrian. We'll start with Adrian first. Adrian?
I'm sorry.
You won't get to vote on that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to show where
Your vote. This is for the dismissal of employee 2524 and reassignment for the 2024-2025 school year to a certificate of employee. Yay. Mr. Gensler?
Yes.
Yay. Mr. Gutierrez?
Abstain.
I vote yay. Okay, so. Okay, so then, the motion. Who made the motion? We just voted, she did the thing. So, I will make a motion to accept Mrs. Izzo's recommendation. Do I hear a second?
A second.
I don't think you can vote on this.
Sorry.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and you're abstaining.
Yes.
3 ayes, 1. Okay. Yes. Thank you. Alrighty, district bonds, programs, and bond election opportunity. CFW materials.
Okay, Madam President, last board meeting, Mr. Cush, I never could pronounce his last name, so I'm gonna call him Mr. Cush for a lack of, to address him, presented to us the potential that we could have a bond on our 2024 presidential election in November in the amount of $62 million. As you are aware, we are currently in escrow on a piece of property, about 20 acres on Roseman Boulevard. As our numbers continue to grow, we are anticipating the day is going to come that we're going to need that third elementary school. I just am seeking advice and direction from the board on whether we want to proceed, because we are in April now. And if we want to, if we want to proceed with the possibility of putting a bond on the election for our community, we would need to proceed to hire a survey firm to see how does our community feel about us asking for, that it would be an increase in taxes for the possibility of building that third elementary school, and then taking whatever remaining funds, at 62, the estimate would be that the potential cost of a third elementary school could be somewhere in the estimate of $30 to $35 million. And anyone who has visited our high school, even though we've done some upgrades in certain areas, paint, etc., new cafeteria underway, there's a lot of room for improvement at the high school for any remaining funds. So I'm just looking for direction, whether the board wants to engage bond counsel to proceed with something like this, starting with hiring a firm to do the survey on how our community feels about having a bond on the November election, or do you want not to proceed with this? I just need direction because the clock is ticking.
I understand. I think that the survey is important to figure out what the community wants.
I'm gonna enlighten more. We have 2 elementary schools that are at capacity. If we get 100 students, we're not gonna have a place to put them. They are already anticipating 3 new housing tracks. And where are we gonna put them? We need to really look to the future. We started a project 10 years ago, finally got it approved through the state to do tropical. Because about 70% of tropical is importables at this point. So now we finally get that project finished up 10 years later because the state would never fund us. They finally did at half of what it should cost. So The only way that we're gonna get an elementary school at this point is to run a bond. I personally would love to see a bond done. It would raise our property taxes by, they estimated about $69 per 100,000 for the next 30 years. That's what the projection is from the bond council that we met with. So I'm throwing it out to the community so everybody knows. I personally would really like to do that. And I would go for the entire amount because one, we need an elementary school. The high school really needs the locker rooms rebuilt. They're almost not usable. They haven't, yeah, I know. Mr. Adams, look at me. They are not usable. They really, really need to be redone. I'm saying this for the community that's out there watching, because I want everybody to know there's a big need in our community to get this stuff done. So I've been on the building committee for 12 years, I think, trying to get buildings built. We helped get Bozeman Elementary built, West Park built, the gym at the junior high, and now we're getting buildings. We're almost done. Hopefully by this summer it'll be good to go, and I can't wait.
Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Chris,
Second.
second by Vince Lett. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I don't have any data on that, so it should stay.
I would like to vote.
Okay.
You say no?
She said, do the vote no. All right, reports and communications, RTA reports.
All right. RTA would like to proudly announce that the tentative agreement for the 2023-2024 school year was ratified by the majority of the RTA members. We are so excited that our members voted overwhelmingly to approve the tentative agreement with 143 yes votes and not one no vote. RTA looks forward to a unanimous vote of support from the board tonight as well. Lastly, I would like to express my thanks to both bargaining teams for all of their time, energy, and dedication spent on helping to negotiate the many improvements to our contract. Most of all, we thank the board for your time, consideration, and hopefully a yes vote. And that's all I have.
Sir. CSEA report?
Nothing to report at this time.
All right. Nothing to report. Board member Schmidt.
Starting with West Park, John performed their music in the Jungle Book today for the entire school. The kids did such a great job. They perform again at the West Park cafeteria for parents next Thursday, April 18th at 6 p.m. and would love anyone who has not already attended today to go to next week's show. The PTA will be hosting a concession stand during the show. Their PTA officer elections are coming up soon as well, and they are currently running a popcorn competition. At Rosemont Elementary, book fair is coming up in May, but there are no updates. For Rosemont High, for the FFA, our livestock team is preparing for an auction next weekend at South Festival. Following is next Wednesday for all breeds. The auction is Wednesday, April 24th at 9 a.m. It'll be a long weekend, so we'll be for a great show. Baseball and softball. JV baseball is currently 10-2. JV softball is currently 3-6 with one tie. Varsity baseball is 8-8, and varsity softball is 4-14. All teams are traveling to Penn Valley this Friday. Boys volleyball has one win, and their next game is tomorrow at Desert. Track had a meet today at Cal City, and their next meet is Wednesday at Clear Valley. And then for Mr. Donovan, seniors should continue to scan the scholarship QR code to view the spreadsheet because there are lots of scholarships.
Thank you very much. CBO report, Mr. Irving.
Alrighty, well, construction is still ongoing at the middle school and high school. Had a meeting, yesterday at the high school with site contractor, our project management, and then Sean Riley from our IT department to go over low voltage concerns and walk through the space so that, we can tie what's on paper to what's actually, what the actual shape of the walls are, things like that for mounts and hardware, and be able to get a real first look at it before, we have the plan on paper and then try and, put it together in the real world, and it doesn't quite work. So, very productive meeting with that. My office is preparing for our interim audit next week. It'll be the start of the 23-24 school year audit. So this will be the first visit from our semi-annual audit. So they'll look at the opening of this year through present, and then be back in October after the fiscal year is closed to look at closing and wrap up the audit. So we're preparing for that. And child nutrition is also under administrative review right now as part of a 3-year process with CDE to just review and make sure that everything is still going as it should. CDE will be on site on Friday at the high school to do their on-site inspection. Everything else up to this point has been online based and questionnaires of district policy and procedures. So we're looking forward to that concluding and finding out, if we need to change anything, what we need to do, and anything like that to make sure everything stays in compliance. So that's it for me.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Assistant Superintendent of Instruction and Curriculum, Dr. Mendez.
Good evening, everyone that joins us here in person as well as online. I want to give some updates in regards to the summer school. I've been in contact with Dan DeBeacon, Sales Director for Future Creative Materials. We utilized that curriculum last school year and in previous years. He just had an update where they have a new curriculum called Summer Scholars. He's going to send some samples over to West Park Elementary, Roseman Elementary, and Tropical Middle School. So teachers, administrators can look through the materials. It's similar to what was used in the past, called focused reading and focused math. But we can either continue with what we had with PCM, or we can look at Summer Scholars and what they have to offer there in terms of updates that they have. But we're going to have some samples being sent to school sites just so they can review and get some feedback there. But it's still the same company, Future Creative Materials. I've attended the Instructional Leadership Network in Bakersfield. Some of the topics that we covered included budget, curriculum, professional development, PBIS, and other topics. On April 3rd, we had the Ethnic Studies Committee, and we were discussing the book that we're going to be recommending. We'll go into more details. That we'll be proposing to go more details later in this meeting. Administrators have been working on the school plans for student achievement, and they will be presenting later this evening. Professional development, we had iReady professional development here in the conference room / boardroom, where we had 50 team members that participated. And we had 46 teachers and 4 administrators in terms of iReady. iReady is computer adaptive. We also have different tools, resources, reports that can be pulled from iReady. And we're continuing to plan for our IVED and PLC Summer Institutes. We're also looking into the seal of civic engagement. We've been in contact with Kern County Superintendent Schools Office, and we're looking at juniors and seniors that could potentially be eligible for a seal of civic engagement if they've been involved in a community project in terms of like different activities or projects throughout the school year. And they have other criteria as well, but that's just one of the criteria items there. And then the seal of civic engagement can be placed on the student diploma. That concludes my report.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Assistant Superintendent of Special Education and Pupil Personnel, Mrs. Taylor.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Congratulations, Mr. Coy. So in special education, we have to every year do what is called the SIM plan for compliance and improvement monitoring. And today we had to submit our quarterly report, our progress report. So I just wanted to say that we had absolutely positive growth. We've met a lot of our goals already, and we still have another 2 more quarters to go. And so we're making great progress, and I wanted to point that out. We are also in the process of planning Hope Week. Our Hope Squad groups on each campus are working on themes and activities for Hope Week. We're planning that for April 22nd through the 26th. Each day they'll have different theme and different activities during lunch. And so we're hoping that'll help create even a more positive school climate. And then we're hoping to end that with a Special Olympics event on April 27th, which is on the board agenda for approval tonight. So tentatively, April 27th. And that's it for me.
Thank you so much. Associate Superintendent of Human Resources, Mrs. Hargis.
Good evening, everyone. HR is a busy place. We still have several positions that we need to fill, but hopefully with the RTA bargaining agreement, with our salary increase and increase the benefits on the individual side, we hope that if approved, this will pull some additional interest towards Southern Current. Paul and Monica will be attending a job fair at Antelope Valley College tomorrow. That'll be really for classified staff, and some of the positions that they're going to be focusing on filling are our after-school ACES instructors, AVID tutors, and para-educators.
Thank you. Superintendent's report, Mrs. Gaines.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening. I want to say good evening to everyone here and to all of our parents and community members joining us from home. I'm going to start by congratulating Roseman High Early College Campus, Mr. Bajnav, Ms. Calzada, and Mr. Small. Let's see, Mr. Small this evening. Mr. Small's not here this evening. Every couple of years, we have a WASP visit, mid-cycle review this time. And yesterday, myself, Mrs. Hargis, and Mr. Robert Irving had the pleasure of meeting with the WASP visiting team. You never know. I once put a middle school through WASP accreditation, and so it's not an easy fate, but you never know how they view or see things. And I just want to say to the high school team, to the staff, to the administrators, and especially all of our teachers over there, we just got rave reviews. And kudos to you, Mr. B, and your leadership, and all the teachers. It was just a breath of fresh air to hear the ladies told us we have been in the classrooms not once but a couple of times every classroom, and the level of rigor and the engagement that they saw out of the students and the climate and the culture. She just had nothing but wonderful things to say. And I understand she interviewed several students. She made it sound like a massive number of students. And she said even the students had nothing but great things to say about high school and the CTE pathway. She mentioned you, Mr. Riley. Don't hide back there. She mentioned you, and she's a fan. She's a fan of yours, Mr. Riley. So, thank you so much. It was wonderful to spend that amount of time with them and to hear the great that we are making progress. We have always room for improvement, room to grow, but she loved what she saw, especially in the math and science departments as well. So that was a great thing. One of the things that I found out yesterday that I'm so excited about, we have 185 high school students who are enrolled in dual enrollment for concurrent enrollment college classes this year. That is 1/4 of our student population at Roseman High. Wow. As a board member at ABC, Paul, please don't get in trouble with ABC tomorrow, okay? We are the best team. I just can't tell you how happy that makes me to see that many of our astronomers. He's doing a phenomenal job getting, yes. Let's see. My glasses. As we, Dr. Mendez mentioned a little bit, our Ethnic Studies Committee, who has been meeting primarily this entire year, which consists of teachers, parents, administrators, board members, really did a great job on deciding what we need to have as the focus for our ethnic studies curriculum and course here at Roseman High. And even though we have a couple of years until it's actually mandated, we are starting this fall by offering a semester of ethnic studies to all freshmen who enter Roseman High. And so I'm very excited. I love the book, Dr. Mendez, the book that was selected by this committee. It's rigorous, but yet I think it's an easy read for the kids. And I just want to say thank you to that committee because I think you guys did an outstanding job doing that. And also, we'll be doing some extended learning opportunity work at both Roseman Elementary and West Park. We're going to be putting in Paxton Patterson labs at both of the elementary schools that will have 12 various labs in each of the Paxton Patterson labs. So they will transition then from elementary into Tropico, where we have an 18 component lab at Tropico Middle School. And we will also be doing robotics classrooms and also a maker space. So I'm very excited. Hopefully we're going to be getting underway with that. Robert, what do you think? So with a month or so, possibly a couple months? Yes. So this will be really something that we're going to be doing primarily for our extended learning, after school, Saturday school, summer school, any time that we can keep the kids in school to give them that additional learning environment. And I also want to just say I want to recognize one more person on my team, and that's Miss Fallon Mitchell. In case you haven't seen it, I've been showing it to everybody. Fallon was, we had an article in Kern County, published by Kern County Superintendent of Schools on our Parent Community Center. And Fallon was the focus, and the work that she's doing in the community center and the work that's been going on and all the future plans she has for that community center. And lovely article, and keep up the good work, Fallon. Thank you. And I think that's it for me.
Thank you. Okay, board member communications. Shall I start with Mr. Corey?
I'm just happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lots of work.
Will help.
Adrian, next.
Oh, I didn't know you were looking. Okay, thank you all for joining us tonight. Just another warm welcome to Mr. Hoyt. I hope you're ready. It's a lot. I'll just put it that way. But I think you were the right person for the job. So
Thank you. I'll do my best.
yes, I will help you out because I'm still too looking for some guidance. Trying my best. I just I lost it. Mr. Bajna, is Zach can send Mr. Wheeler, I will be in contact with you so I can make arrangements to go out and visit the campus. So please look out for an email, maybe a phone call. That's it.
Thank you.
Yep, okay. Well, as you can tell, I'm getting better and better each week, actually each day. And I am been participating a lot more, towards getting back to normal, whatever normal is going to be. Just, Mr. Coy, glad to have you on board. Glad to see a lot of your work during some meetings dealing with students.
Oh, last year.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
last year.
I did.
So you helped out there. We've got an item, two items that we're going to vote on tonight in the consent items. I've asked to have pulled out, and I'll explain that when that is done. And so we'll do with that. But working on with this board, we've been busy, and I'll be honest with you. The 3.5 years now, it's almost a full-time job. So if anybody is really looking to run in November, just be aware of is we expect a lot from you and so forth. So, but we got a lot of work to do still. As Mario says, we got all the construction. One of the things that I'll be pushing for, and I've already mentioned it to Mrs. Gaines, is I've seen a lot of CTE programs where the programs are shoehorned in a facility. I'd like us to consider when we start getting into the CTE programs to actually build the CTE programs around, the buildings around into the CTE programs. And I give you an example, one of the schools that I sub at, nice, beautiful CTE video production, but you can't have a studio and no wall to go. So that's kind of where I'm looking at. And there's other, for everyone. So I mean, is everybody who's involved in CTE should be able to have input as we are planning the buildings and so forth. So other than that, everybody who's watching, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming. Martin, you're up.
Here? Go here?
Yep, go here.
First, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. And I want to again thank all the participants who wanted to come up and help us out, because that's what you would be doing, is helping us out. Again, I encourage everybody to run again when the election comes up in November. It's just a busy week.
Yeah, it's
So quite I don't know which way up anymore. So with that, it's all you. I'm done.
Hello, guys. Hello. Welcome, Mr. Coy. I was able to attend the Jungle Book today at West Park, and I love art for these kids. They have so much fun, and these kids are not singing their hearts out, and they're dancing. And it was a really good show, so it was a really good time. So it was, I want to say Mrs. Collins and Mrs. Torres. Well done with the students. I read these now a lot. Mr. Torres, I want to commend you, not just because of your garden, not just because of the garden, but zero identified with the drug dogs last month. So that's commendable. So good job. And then I need to come to your garden. I see what you're growing. You've got squash, pumpkins, radishes, carrots, tomatoes, and I'm really excited. I need to bring you those artichoke seeds, but it's going to be whoever you give them to pull them out. You got to get the seeds out, and it's quite the job. So I've got a lot of those to donate to you to do what you will. I did talk to Mr. Holmes today at your campus, and he mentioned, well, I looked at the kindergarten play area and the area where they walk, yeah, how it's just all over the place. So what's the deal with that?
Where are we looking to?
Place it? It's just that part, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another big project that's gonna happen over there. Yeah, if everything goes like it does. But that is one of the things that we're looking at also.
Okay.
We're already looking at
We're
it.
getting things done here, you see? Other than that, happy spring, guys. It's springtime, it's April. We got what, 40 more, how many more days of school? 37. 30. 37.
But we're not counting.
I do too. Okay, thank you. 37 more days. You guys are all doing a great job. It's a hard job. And I appreciate all you guys for everything that all of you guys do. All of you. That's all I have for the day. And any subcommittee communications?
Yeah, got one. We had met today, safety and security. A lot of folks here in the public. We decided to create a board subcommittee for safety and security to start making sure our safety plans, everything is done. A couple of things we discussed today was the chain of command, because once we have, hopefully we never have to, but that chain of command is put in place so that we operate HCs of the schools efficiently. And so that way we don't, and then when we have to turn it over to another command structure if we ever have to. So it's there, we're looking at a new poster, I think, Mr. Irving, that poster that I brought in from the, I don't know if you still have it or not, the one that rather than put color codes, we put in like lockdown or things like that. If we can kind of get that issued and put out to the sites, that's going to help. So everybody will know what a lockdown is, what is stay in place, whatever is called. It's to get away from the color codes. They don't work. So, but that's basically what we went through today.
Thank you, sir. All right, consent items minus item G and H. Do I hear a motion? Or any questions?
Okay, I'll just explain G and H. I've asked the G and H to be pulled out because I was heavily involved with the design and working with the audio engineers. I prefer to not vote on it tonight. So that's the reason why I just don't like the perceptions of technical pride. Yeah, well, not that, but it's not improprietary, but I just don't like to have the perception that, just because I got in it, this is a good system. Mr. Bashnath will enjoy his audio system going into the gymnasium. Please put Mr. Armstrong on notice. It's coming.
Wireless surround sound.
Okay.
Okay, so then consent.
May I ask Mr. Vince-Lott a question, please? Mr. Vince-Lott, so you want these items pulled because we're not ready?
No, he's just not.
I'm going to vote, so
Okay.
I'm going to accept.
Okay, he's abstaining.
I'm going to
Okay, that's not, I'm sorry, that's not what I heard.
Is I included in that?
So what we're doing,
No,
we're gonna
I-
vote on consent items A through L minus G and H, and then we'll do a separate vote for G and H.
Okay.
Okay, so do I hear a motion for items A through L minus G and H?
Motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Gutierrez, second by Vince. All in favor? Aye.
Yeah.
All right.
Just got my-
Yeah, right on.
I'll make
Okay,
a motion that we accept G and H.
okay. Motion by Gutierrez, seconded by Shimansky. All in favor? Aye.
Abstain?
Abstentions. Okay, thank you. Okay, curriculum and instruction. Except quarterly report, January, February, March, and 2024. On the Williams uniform complaints under Education Code 35186, Dr. Mendez.
Okay, that is our quarterly report, which is on page 69 of the board packet. And in terms of textbooks and instructional materials, no complaints there, so it's just a quarterly report on Williams uniform complaints, and that pertains to those items, and we update those quarterly.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion by Mr. Harris, accept.
Second.
Second by Ms. Gillette. All in favor? Aye. Ooh, sounds so full in here. All right, first reading and review of the school plan for student achievement and the STSA informational. Site presentations of SPO principals. So you guys. Dr. Mendez
Yes,
as well.
so we're, this is gonna be the first reading of the school plan for student achievement, SIPSAS. The next, second reading will be on, is tentative schedule is the 24th, and then the third reading on May 1st, and for the board to take action. This will give the public and board to be able to, hear the presentations, and this is for the SIPSA 24-25 for the next school year. And then, principal administration will be providing, a brief presentation, for each of the school sites, and then an opportunity, for questions if, any questions were to arise.
Okay.
Okay, so we can start off with, Roseman Elementary, please, Mr. Adams.
Okay, is this, presentation for next year?
It's this year's SPSA, but it is for next year.
Okay. I'm just thinking,
I'm baseball.
Yeah,
okay, I just want to.
actually wrong.
It's using, data from this year or most recent data, but that is correct, though, it is for next school year.
So we have goals, obviously, in English and math. Our goal is all students will show at least one grade level growth in each of their STAR reading benchmark assessments and iReady. Our K1 uses STAR, and our 2 through 5, they use iReady. I'm going to focus mostly on the strategies. Each year, these strategies have grown. The system, this multi-tiered system of support has grown each year over the last few years, and it's really made a difference. So we have teacher clarity, we have paraeducators, PLC meetings and trainings, SST meetings, those are the student success team meetings, K2 Success for All, our after-school academy, summer school, ACES and universal access. We have an interventionist, which is doing a wonderful job. Just she's in classrooms. She's not just sitting in her classroom with kids coming to her. She does that, but she also pushes into the classroom, does observations, makes recommendations for special education, for further support. She's just doing a really great job. And then iReady, which Dr. Mendez mentioned that we had all of our grade levels trained. I was able to attend one of them. So was Mr. Van Han. This is a great program, and our teachers are really taking to it. Mathematics, our goal is to a minimum of 80% of our students, grades 3 through 5, will improve their mathematics scores on CASP tests by 15%. Our strategy will be very similar to what English is, our SSD coordinator, classroom paraeducators, all of our digital tools, the PLCs, ACES, Math Academy. Our leadership team is talking about our academy, revamping our academy to where it's more useful to our students. We really want to look at that for next year as well, our math and reading academies. We've got some feedback that is telling us that we need to fix things there. Goal 3 is for our English learners. Our goal is to increase Our scores by 25 points. Also, the number of students scoring at levels 1 and 2 will decrease. We have our designated, the strategy and activities. We have designated yield strategic instruction, ACES priority for our ELDs, our English learners, English 3D, 4th and 5th grade. We received quite a bit of training this year on English, on ELD. Not all of our teachers, but all of our ELD teachers have made all of those trainings. So we're planning on that helping them, helping our EL students improve as well. Goal 4, suspension rates. Our suspension rates from each year has gone up. Last year was 5.2%. Our goal is that we will reduce the suspension rate at least 0.5% annually until we meet the state standard, which is blue on the dashboard. Our activities, strategies is the implementation of PBIS. We just had a meeting today, a PBIS staff meeting today. We're focusing on restorative practices, Character Strong, and Hope Squad. And I truly believe those areas right there are going to move the needle greatly for us. I have great faith in all of them. Our teachers are embracing Character Strong more and more. Hope Squad is kind of stalled out, but the slack has been picked up. We really miss Mrs. Shevlin. She was our Hope Squad leader, but we've had other people from special education come and help us with Hope Squad, so it continues to go. It was struggling for a bit, but then we got the extra help, and they are now back on track. But we are getting our entire staff on board for this effort to implement positive behavior intervention and support. And we've had that on our campus for a while, but as some of the teachers articulated today, we never got past the rewards system. And we are definitely getting past the rewards system. It's much more than just rewarding students. Parental engagement, I just have to make a plug for PK and for the parent center. It's been such a boost to our parent involvement. So Fallon, great job. We love everything that's happening. We also have, so we're wanting to increase our parent involvement at the school events and volunteering by at least 10% and increase parent communication through the use of Parent Square. Parent Square is a great tool. I have a lot of positive feedback on that. And our strategies are many and plenty. We have a lot of parent involvement this year, and it looks to grow. I believe that is it. Any questions?
So you mentioned that there were things that were lacking in the after-school program, and you guys made those changes. What kind of changes?
Well, we are going to make sure that the curriculum that we offer in the academy is faithfully implemented. I don't think it has been implemented as it's supposed to. It's that simple. It's not a hard fix. But we don't see the growth for those particular students that we are expecting. So we have to stick to what we've been given instead of doing what we feel. So it's not a hard fix. Just have to commit and make sure we're using the right tool, which is we've got a curriculum, so we need to use it. Yeah. Other questions?
You got an academy curriculum?
Yeah.
Where did you get that? I'm just curious.
Well, I'm not sure how long we've been using it. I think we're on our third year.
Third year.
Is that right?
And it's math and language arts for both?
Yes, both.
Okay.
Well, we have reading and we have math. So the students that go to math generally are the ones that are struggling with math. Sure. The students that go to reading are generally the ones that are struggling with reading, when in reality, they're struggling with math. Yeah. So that's something I also want to look at with our teachers, because I know all the kids, I don't wanna say all the kids, but many of the kids in the reading academy are also struggling with math. So maybe swapping at a certain time so that they can get both, especially those who really need both. That's something I would like to look at. Okay.
Thank you.
There you go, Mr. Ross.
West Park Elementary School.
Okay. All right, so our first, I'm not really, I'm just, it's residual. I was sick though, but, so our first goal is we had an English language art as our English language arts. And we want, our CAD scores were in the low range of 28.3 points below standard. It's basically around same as it was last year. So one of our big focuses is, as Mr. Adams was talking about, was our iReady. We have our STAR, which is K through 1. I'm not sure if in the future if we'll go to iReady with those lower grades, but right now we use we're using the iReady as our assessment, and one of the things I want to focus on is mainly the strategies. So for English and when we get to math, the strategies, I mean, we have things like Avid, we have our after school academies, but the two biggest focuses for me have been PLCs and now the iReady. And so our teams, our grade levels have been meeting pretty consistently weekly. And since we've been given this time, we have the minimum days and then they've been meeting weekly. And it's like going to the PLCs, visiting the PLCs, seeing in the leadership meetings I have with the teachers, seeing the goals they set, the SMART goals. You know, they focus on, there's like 4 parts of a PLC. What do we want students to learn and be able to do? How will we know that they learned it? And what will we do when they haven't learned it? You know, interventions, and then what we do when they have, when they've met it, and that goes to the point of like enrichment. So the PLCs has been a huge part, and that will go into other things like our EL students and focusing on individual students. So PLCs are important. The collaboration is amazing, and what we're seeing there in helping students learn, all students. iReady is another really big one. It's a research-based, proven program, and on not only with the assessment part, but also with the interventions that are built into it. And we've seen early results where a lot of teachers have had a lot of progress, a lot of up. So then we saw that some weren't as much, and so we talked about in staffing as PLC. So we have more and more teachers that are really using the PLC program. So it goes the same thing with the math. Like our math, I know for the district overall went up, so we were in a better area, even though it's still low but it's the equity report. So we show progress, which was good. So we're happy about that, but we're looking forward because of what we're doing with PLCs and other in our iReady that we're going to see greater results. So these are again some of the strategies that we use. We have our para-educators in our lower grades, TK through second. We have our PLC meetings, which they use SMART goals and focus on student learning, and SST meetings. We have after school academies and such. English learners, we have our integrated, and we have our strategic, EL learning that we do on a daily basis. One focus that we want to do is we want to keep them moving up the levels, and again, one of the things that I want to focus on is when our teachers meet in PLCs, that they do focus on these students. That it's a point of discussion how we can help these students improve. Suspension rates, our suspension rates last year were particularly low at West Park. They're even lower this year, and we're focusing on those things. We're focusing on restorative practices. We have a PBIS team. The district is focusing more on that. We have a PBIS team like RES does, and we're coming together to come up with better ideas for the whole, because PBIS isn't a program, it's a system, and it's a system to help overall with many things, so not just the typical things that people think, reward system, it's a lot of things. It's the expectations that everybody uses, the adult language that people use. It's supervision. There's a whole system to how PBIS works. And so some of the activities that we've had for a while, like the separate recesses, lunch times, but I think also the focus too with me and Mrs. Ament with restorative practices when it comes to when we're dealing with students and trying to work with them and not just be suspension, because as we all know that suspension sometimes is required, but in most cases not very effective. And parental engagement, it's been great this year. Last year it really went up a lot with volunteering. This year is a lot more because so a lot of parents volunteer. We get a lot of volunteering. The PK has been wonderful. The other night I went for a question and answer part of it, which was great. It was neat because it got so many more parents involved and the school. So yes, thank you, Ms. Gaines and for Fallon and all the work that we have that program. It's really important. And we do other things with our parental engagement, literacy nights, dances, our PTA. So there's a lot of things that we do, but there's a lot of things that we want to do better so we can get more involvement. So that's it. The end.
Thank you.
Question or I'm off the hook?
You're very thorough.
All right, we have Tropical Middle School. Ms. Atkinson. Mr.
Okay. Hi, everybody. This is our SIPSA, our Single Plan for Student Achievement for 23-24. Our first goal is related to English, language arts, and math. Our goal is TMS students will increase both math and ELA CAS scores by 15 points. We're prepping for the CAS now. Our teachers have been implementing IABs as part of their common formative assessment in their PLC teams, which has been very effective. They've been introduced to the CAS questions, the rigor, and then the teachers, especially our sixth grade math department and English departments, have really been focusing on teaching kids how to read the questions, but also how to develop their understanding. And then we've been working on their writing. So, because those performance tasks can be a big bear for our kids sometimes. So the implementation that was previously planned was halted by safety concerns on our campus, unfortunately. We've been addressing those, and since last year, our safety issues have decreased. And so we're more focused on tardies. And then we've been able to focus more on our PLCs and developing our students' understanding and prepping for the CAS. So we've been establishing and maintaining campus-wide policies and procedures that support and improve student safety in the classroom through effective classroom management. And then we've done that outside with our campus management as well. Our CSOs have been doing an effective job of teaching our kids, working with them, talking to them, building relationships, and also counseling, coaching, and guiding. As they can on the blacktop or in between classes during passing period, they ask them for guidance, suggestions. This person's doing this, and they might tell, well, try replying this way instead of fighting. So we've seen some improvement there. So we're really excited about that. So we've been able to focus a little bit more this second semester on our English, language arts, and math goal. Goal 2, TMS will improve the school climate. So this relates back to our safety for our first goal. So our strategy is the overall effectiveness of our goal, which is to improve school climate and reduce the suspension rate by 2% for all students. We've actually met that goal. And then 5% for our African-American student group during the 23-24 school year. So we're excited to say that we have decreased. Data will be forthcoming at the end of the school year to see that we actually met it. The overall effectiveness of these goals and implementation took time and dedication throughout the school year to note progress. As the years progressed, it's evident through data that there was a decline in suspensions. We've had an increase in attendance, which we're very excited about. We did actually finally win the banner from Mr. Boshnoff once. We were so proud. Good competition, Mr. Boshnoff. We appreciate the challenge. And an increase in parent involvement. So we've gotten more of our parents to come. We've done a monthly parent night. We've done a social media night. We've done parent nights about promotion. We're actually doing a parent night next week for RES on Tuesday. All of our RES fifth grade students and parents are invited to come, and we're welcoming them, giving them some information about how to be a successful middle school student. And we're also introducing our Camp Peak trip, which means Gaines is ensuring that all sixth graders get to go for free. So we have 200 spots, and we're going in October. So we're very excited. We also have one for West Park is going to be the week after on Tuesday. So for all our West Park parents and students. So our initial expectation was to meet the goal in 3 to 4 years. Data indicates that we may cut that down to 1 to 2 years. So we're very excited about that. Looking forward to being able to share that with the board. Our English learners, EL students at TMS are scoring in the low level for making progress towards reclassification. Our goal was to increase the percentage of our English language learner students making progress towards English language proficiency by 5%. Strategies and activities by creating leveled class cohort groups. So we've leveled the classes. We were able to allow instruction to be more seamless and effective. So essentially focusing on students that are ones overall, because of their low level of knowledge of the English language, the teachers can work and be very specific with their instruction to the ones, whereas the fives, a lot of times they need more help with the writing, whereas the ones, they need help with just basic conversation. So developing those skills, we have seen some improvement. Teachers were able to create a focused, common formative instruction and allowed for teachers to identify specific areas of need through close monitoring of student work in progress, because they can compare apples to apples rather than apples to oranges. During the previous school year, these changes were made second semester. We've hypothesized, that the data will indicate growth for all ELL students and a higher reclassification rate for the year. Ms. Herrera has done our LPAC testing. We just don't have the results yet. So hopefully we'll see some positive growth. Goal number 4 is NGSS, our next generation science standard. Sorry, I'm getting dry mouth. During the 22-23 school year, our science teachers will begin implementing the new NGSS aligned science curriculum. So we adopted TCI. Professional development was provided for all of our science teachers, and we have a very good science PLC group. They work really well together. They are also working with KCSOS on aligning their curriculum and instruction with grade level NGSS standards. So they've been very involved and very forward moving, looking towards the future. And then teachers will administer the practice test for the CAS to all students who will take the test, and they'll discuss areas of assessment that students found difficult while engaging in the practice test. So essentially helping the students to understand what they're looking at, how it relates to what they've been learning, and really making that connection as opposed to here's a book, but it's different from the test. So finding more of that similarity and getting them back on common ground. And like, as I said, the PLC group that we have of science teachers has been doing a fantastic job of that. So, and then goal number 5, parental engagement. Students, Tropical will increase parental awareness of student-related resources. These resources include, but are not limited to, a mental health therapist, our Hope Squad, parental events by 100% annually. This will be to address issues such as bullying, cyberbullying, drug-related issues, mental health issues, social media issues, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, etc. We encourage our students to come to us if they have any issues, if they have a concern, if they have something happens and they don't know how to handle it. So rather than tattletaling, as one of my students said today, rather than tattletaling, we're trying to get them to understand you're not tattletaling, you're bringing to our attention something that could harm someone else, or something that could harm you. Or, you know what, maybe you just need some coaching on how to handle this situation with a friend, or somebody that's just saying mean things. So we're trying to teach them rather than bring about consequences for a lack of knowledge of how to be socially interactive with other people and how to respond to someone you really don't like that's talking to you. So we've been trying to encourage that. We have been with our mental health therapist. She has been working on having groups that are available not just to our special education students, but also to our general education students. And we can refer them at any time. Teachers can refer a student. She'll see if there's a need for the student, see if she can support the student. Occasionally, she may just meet with the student, and that has helped tremendously. Students have been able to develop more confidence. a better understanding, and they don't feel as isolated and as if they're all alone in this world and kind of thrown to the wolves. So that has helped tremendously. So those groups have done phenomenal for some of our students that I've interacted with, and I refer to, wow, this is amazing. Okay, and we encourage them, of course, to speak with administration or staff. If it's a quick 1 or 2 second conversation, great. Otherwise, the teachers can send us an email or drop us a note or come by and talk to us. We'll talk to the student, or if it's something we feel that our mental health therapist would be the most appropriate to speak to, we refer them to her. We talk to parents. We thank the parents constantly for their support and their involvement with their students. So that's a big cornerstone of raising the children, parents and us working together. So we definitely are looking for that. And we try not to shame the students by telling, well, I'm gonna call your mom. No, you know what, let me call your mom and just to let her know what's going on. And that way, she can help you also. And then the students they're still a little nervous, but it really does help when they realize their parents aren't gonna be mad that, they made a poor choice or they don't know how to handle something. So we also utilize Hope Squad events throughout the year to assist students in, and I'm really excited to put on my calendar dates, thank you, Ms. Taylor, with the assistance of our mental health therapist. She's phenomenal, by the way. We've been able to allow our students access to professional crisis management techniques and skills. And our high school counselor has been coming over and helping out too. So we've needed some extra assistance. So we appreciate everything that you offer us, Ms. Taylor. Does the board or the cabinet have any questions? Ms. Gates?
Yes, more of a observation, Ms. Atkinson. Recently, it's been probably a few weeks now, I met with your math department.
Yes.
Really good meeting, very pleased to hear that they shared with Dan and I that they've been focusing a lot on the essential standards for math. And we looked at data. We kind of delved down into their teacher data with their students, and we're seeing significant growth with many of your math teachers. My question to you is, since we've had that meeting and they shared so many, some of their practices, have you seen any continuation of that effort, or have you seen them try? Because I was concerned about the limited number of Tropico students who are engaging in the after-school math academies when you have what I call such rock star math teachers now at Tropico. So I'm just wondering, have you noticed or have you seen any, was it just something that they shared with me here, but is there some continuation in that effort?
So I can answer that. There is continuation on that effort. I have spoken to students and I have seen students' grades increase. Of our SST students, about a third of them are now no longer receiving Fs, and a lot of them have Fs in math. So I actually have students that, because of this school year, are actually going to be exited from the SST program because they have been successful. And that's partly due to our math teachers who've done an excellent job. I have students that have reported to me and shared in IEP meetings or at other times, oh, you know what, I didn't understand math until this teacher taught it to me. Now I get it, So there has been a definite improvement, and they have been maintaining that. I do want to see more students do the academies. Unfortunately, our challenge isn't the teachers that are present, because the teachers are great. It's the students that want to come and stay after school. Because when I offer academies in an IEP meeting or an SST meeting, they go, oh no, is what I get from the students. The parents are like, yeah, and the students are like, no, I'm not going. So that's our challenge, and that's something we'll be working on, continuing work on next year.
And just one other thing I want to just put in your mind, even though it's for down the road, in the new campus, the new 7 buildings, 28 classrooms at Tropico, 2 of the 28 classrooms, when you talk about focus on NGSS and the science standards, 2 of those classrooms are going to be science labs. So let's make sure that, science teachers who are heavily, any grades, but I would think primarily 7th and 8th would be placed in those labs too. So they can really focus on the 3 elements of NGSS.
Perfect, absolutely. We will do that, definitely. Any other questions?
I have a question about your academies. Do you also have curriculum for your math and English academies at Chalco?
Yes, currently we're piloting iReady at a middle school level. I've used iReady in the past at other schools, and I have found that students can move actually 1 to 2 grade levels, even in a half a school year, a semester. So if they apply themselves, because it is, as Dr. Mendez mentioned earlier, it's an adaptive online program that adapts to the needs of the individual student. They take an assessment that indicates what they need to know, and then it essentially practices and teaches them what they're missing, as opposed to just practicing all skills, that they may not need at that time. So, and it sort of fills in some of the holes for the kids, and then that way when they go back to their regular class, they have an interest. Oh, I get it now, because I was missing this one piece of information.
So that's intervention, or that's the academies?
That's the academies. It's an enrichment program to help support our students, and we highly encourage our students that are a little behind, lower benchmark scores, to attend academies. So, because it's really helpful. And then they have their teachers there who also do other activities and games. They don't just do an online program. They do other activities and games, a lot of which are based on what they may be learning in school, and they're using the standards to kind of apply. And then if a student has a question, can you help me? I'm having trouble on this math assignment from my teacher, and they'll support them and assist them. So.
Yeah, and Ms. Atkinson, the reason I'm so concerned about with your math teachers is because you do have some really good data coming out of the classrooms, and
Thank you. We're very fortunate.
Many of your highly acclaimed educators in the country, from Roland Barth to Doug Fisher to John Hattie, Michael Fullen, they all believe nothing beats instruction more than explicit direct instruction at the tier 1 level. And so I really would like to see those teachers staying after school if possible to offer these kids who are struggling in math this opportunity to be taught and focused on the standards that they haven't grasped yet.
Absolutely.
That's what I want to see.
Fantastic. All right, excellent.
And Dr. Wetzel's been working with Tropical Middle School and high priority standards.
Yes.
And I know at elementary, Roseman Elementary, West Park, been working on learning progressions as well, curriculum maps. But she's this year she's working with the math team there at Tropical Middle School.
Thank you, Dr. Mendez. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Johnson.
All right, alternative education, Abraham Lincoln, independent study, and Rare Earth High School. Mr. Torres. Yes.
Hi.
Hello, good evening.
Thank you for coming out. It's the middle one, right?
The one on the side, on the right.
The right hand there. Oh, the right hand.
Yeah.
Thanks. Let's just dive right in. Goal number 1 at Abraham Lincoln is to increase. I'm sorry? That's because we have a lot to say. At Abraham Lincoln, our first goal is that we're going to increase the number of students in each band, met standard and exceed standards on the CAS by 5% in ELA annually. The strategies that we're going to use is during the PLC meetings, teachers will analyze student outcome for the core curriculum. They're doing that right now. And as we prepare for our WASP visit next year in January, this is very beneficial because it's giving us data from the CAS score, our quarterly benchmark assessments, and just the other data that we can glean from Acellus on specific areas. Lost my train of thought, sorry. I know the teachers are excited about going and attending the AVID summer conference this year. Thank you, Dr. Mendez. We're really excited about being able to go there. Because what we want to do is we want to bring back Cornell notes. We want to make the way that the kids take the notes more uniform. They're starting to improve on their writing skills. However, when you read their notes, it is very confusing, even to them. So what we're looking to do is we've taught them how to take notes. We've taught them what information to glean from what they've heard, what they've read, and take that down is important. Now we're gonna teach them how to organize their thinking by taking their notes so that when they review for their midterm, their final, they're able to do it in sequential order. We're also received a grant, so we have a reading specialist training series that we're attending. At the present moment, there are 3 teachers and I that are attending this reading specialist training. The goal is initially for elementary level students, 3rd and 4th graders. However, what we are seeing is that we have a number of 7th, 8th, even 9th graders that are reading at that level. By going through this training and picking up the strategies and picking up the resources that they are sharing with us, we're able to fill in the gaps, close the gap, and just bridge them from where they're reading to where they need to be reading. Because it's very important that they don't fall behind in their academic readings. So a lot. Unfortunately, we lost our intervention tutor this year to TMS. You're welcome. So we're in the process of finding a new one. For those of you that did not get a chance to meet Mrs. Hopkins, she was a dynamo. She could do anything and everything, and she was amazing. We're on the search for someone else, but until we find someone like her, and the odds are really high, we're going to get the teachers to actually sit there and fill in the blanks, fill in the gaps. Enrollment's a little bit lower than it was last year. Again, because we don't have as many students getting transferred into independent study. More families are feeling more comfortable returning to their home schools, their comprehensive schools. So now teachers are going to be able to pull 2 or 3 kids, sit down with them, and actually go through the different areas of need, and that's going to help them in the long run. Spot checks of their ISPs on a quarterly basis are done by myself. We know we have the auditors coming in, if not next week, it's the week after. We review those on a regular quarterly basis. What we're looking for is to ensure that we are in compliance with all the demands and the changes made at the state level. I've been through 3 trainings this year, and I can honestly say that the changes that they're making do not affect our board policy, which is great, and it does not affect our master contract. It's mostly housekeeping stuff, and they're minor things, and whatever that they have requested, we have complied with, so we're gonna remain in compliance. So we're excited that the auditor is gonna come in here, get to see all this stuff, and give us a clean bill of health again. We have an ELA Academy. It's offered twice a week. We have some students that come in and take advantage of that, but it's mostly to work on their writing skills. Because, the red one? Just touch it?
Yeah.
Look at that, modern technology. So they come in and they're mostly working on their writing skills. As I explained last year, Abraham Lincoln is working on a writing project. So each quarter, well, it's actually 6 weeks to a quarter, they choose a different topic. So they may go in and say, during the first quarter, we're gonna work on the genre of fiction. And some kids go, oh, can we write horror stories? And get them to write, we go, absolutely. So they sit there and they write it, and they have, some use graphic organizers, some of them write it on the back of their notebooks. It's all over the place, so ergo, don't take it, we can organize them. And then they put it out, and then they edit it. And then they share it with their friend, and their friend comes back and says, wow, this is really great, this is really gory, or I don't get it, what does this say? So they work first to get the chance to look at it by themselves, then a friend gets to look at it, and then the teacher goes through, sits down with the student and says, talk to me about your piece. So that's his rough draft. So then he's rewriting it, and it goes through the rough draft, and then it goes through the editing, the peer editing, sit down with the teacher, and then it goes through 2 more editing processes until he has the final piece, and then he is or she will be submitting that, and it goes in their file. At the present moment, we don't have any, because what the kids are doing is they're taking them home, and as funny as it may sound with some of the high schoolers, mom is putting it up on the fridge because she thinks it's really exciting and he's really excited about it. So we're moving on with that. Our second goal is to ensure that all our students make progress towards college and career readiness by the time they graduate. An increase of 30% will be shown for students' progress towards college and career readiness on the California School Dashboard. I feel confident that we're going to make the 30% because we have a number of students that are meeting with Mr. Otterman. They're talking with Mr. Otterman, and they're saying, hey, I just heard from my cousin who's at Rare Earth that if I take this college course, I don't have to take it when I get out of here. And we're going, absolutely. Then Mr. Noderman is great because he talks to them, he goes over their options. Unfortunately, the ones that showed interest, it was too late to register them for now, but we're keeping the momentum going. We're getting them excited. Mr. Noderman, I think, has or is planning a trip to ABC just so they can see the college so then they can start working on that in the fall. We're getting them early. These are freshmen, sophomores. Sophomore, juniors. So we're very excited about that. The biggest challenge that we see with some of the kids who are most enthusiastic is their GPA. So that's where we're going to work with the reading specialists. That's where we're going to work on organizing their note taking, because we feel once we get them organized, once they do a better job in those areas, their grades are going to increase, their grades are going to get better. Goal number 3, to increase annually the number of students graduating within 4 years of starting high school by 5%. That's a lot easier at Abraham Lincoln because a lot of times we have these kids since they were in 6th, 7th, 8th grade. So what we're doing is we're starting to track it and we're starting to see the kids. Where we kind of stumbled in the beginning was if we had a student who graduated early, we forgot to show them as a graduate. We just showed them as having left. So now we're kind of backtracking a little and going, no, this kid actually graduated, did not move to Fontana or wherever. So we're counting him towards there. So we're looking at the progress. We make a big deal. We started a board up in the multimedia center. And every time a student graduates early, we take their picture holding their transcript and their official transcript, and we tack it up on the board. So when they come in for nutrition in the morning, or the ones that are there during lunchtime come in during lunch, they'll look up and they'll go, I know that guy. And then we just tell them, hey, we're waiting for you. Come on, let's pick up the pace. I want to put your picture next to your friends. So that keeps them moving. Goal number 4, to increase annually the number of students moving from standards not met to standards nearly met. We have a lot of students in the standards not met. And in talking to the PLC, I think they figured out what the issue is. It's not necessarily that students are not putting the effort out. It's that a lot of them have difficulty understanding the academic language. So they're going to be addressing that. They're going to be looking at that. I made a suggestion and I'm waiting to hear whether they're going to accept it or not. If a student is writing a note and uses the academic language and doesn't understand what it means, put a parentheses and put down how they would say it. Like you could sit there and say indubitably, and the kid may sit there and go, oh, you mean no, well, we keep it clean, no kidding, and then close parentheses. So we're comfortable with that because then he can make the correlation and then he knows on the test, I may be thinking this in my mind, but I need to look for the answer that has that piece of language that was expected of me. Lastly, our goal number 5, students at Abraham Lincoln will be exposed to, again, academic vocabulary and use that vocabulary to communicate math thinking clearly, coherently, to support the requirements of Common Core state standards, which will increase the number of students scoring at standard by 9.5% on the math portion of the CASP. This has been a goal for the last couple of years. And it's just very difficult. They got the basics down, but when you have some of our students who are looking at geometry or even at the introduction of Algebra 2, they're having difficulty with slope. In their minds, they think a slope is what I see when I'm going down the 5 freeway into Bakersfield. That's a slope because then I see the little sign and it says 6%. So but when you explain this to them on mathematical equations, they have a little more difficulty. So what we are encouraging them to do is 1, slow down, and when they're working it out longhand, to write themselves notes next to whatever section they don't really understand. They're really good about writing the formula down, following the formula, and you go, okay, explain to me how you got here. I don't know. Well, what do you mean you don't know? You just did it. Yeah, but the teacher said that I need to write all these letters, these numbers down here, and then I do this, and then I do this, and then I get this number, and she says it's right. And we're going, okay. So then I go back to the teachers and I say, well, you need to backtrack. You need to tell them, okay, when you do this, why did we do this? I said review over and over again, orders of operation. I said, because we get killed on that every year in the math portion of the CASP. So they are looking at that. We're going to be revamping that section on the instruction. Marcellus does a good job. They've added some additional intervention features, but I think that we need to do more face-to-face. At Abraham Lincoln, everything is one-on-one intervention. We're looking to ban these kids and talk to the parents about bringing in, let's say if it's Mr. Adams, Mr. Holmes, and myself are all stuck on Algebra 1 on the certain concept, why not just bring them all in once, twice a week, and then have one teacher work with the three of them. They can work with each other, we can work with them, and then that will submit it with all three of them, and then we can send them back home and they can keep on working. I know that my teachers at Abraham Lincoln are staying late, they're on the phone, they're Zooming with these kids, the ones that can't get to us. We are eternally grateful to the current transit system that they have said, if a student shows us their ID, they can ride the dial-a-ride, they can ride the bus for free. That is, I don't want to say it's been a game changer, because not all the kids are taking advantage of that, but it has definitely helped. Because, with some kid that goes, I just can't make it. Really? Okay, call the dial-a-ride, we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m., tell them to come pick you up. I don't have any money, show them your ID. So we're just slowly eliminating the excuses. We're working with a parent who has a very young daughter who said, I'm not comfortable with that. Dr. Mendez helped me with that. We made an arrangement where she can ride with her daughter to Abraham Lincoln, wait in the parking lot or wait in the office until she's done with her appointment, and then dial-a-ride will take her back home. Because right now the primary objective that we have is let's educate this girl. Let's get her what she needs to do. And if mom is willing to sit around for an hour and wait for her, I'm good with that. So thank you, Dr. Mendez, for helping out with that. Oh, any questions about Abraham Lincoln?
I don't have a question, I just want to make a comment, Mr. Torres.
Yes, Mrs.
I don't know about anybody else in the room, but I'm nearly blind. I never want to see that back again. That's like 5-6 slides on one. I don't even know what font that was, but I'd like each goal specifically on its own slide.
Okay.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna get rid of me that fast. Wait.
Hold on.
So what happened to me? Rare earth.
That's a little bigger.
Duly noted, I know what you're gonna say, I agree.
I'm only gonna say it once.
It's okay, I'm saying it to myself.
Thank you.
Goal 1, rare earth will increase the number of students in each band, met standard, exceed standards on the CAS by 3% in ELA annually. We had a slight dip in our ELA scores on the CASP. We're investigating the reasons why that happened. The easiest answer would be an excuse to say the kids didn't take the test seriously. But it's our job as teachers, it's my job as an administrator to keep these kids motivated. So we've been talking about this all year, about how we're gonna motivate the students, and we started earlier in the year. We started with the benchmarks and just having one-on-one conversations, because you can talk to the entire group, but there's strength in numbers. It's, if you're trying to be cool, and it's not cool to actually sit there and listen and follow directly what Mr. Torres says, then you're just gonna sit back and you're gonna scoff and you're gonna make faces and you're gonna make comments under your breath. But if you sit down with that kid one-on-one and you just say, look, this is what the benchmark says, seriously. It says here you're just going to pre-primer. Okay, how did that happen? Now he doesn't have his friends backing him up. Now it's just him and me. And we're having this conversation. And then they're really honest about it. They'll sit there and go, well, my friends make fun of me if I get too many answers right. It's like, okay, are your friends gonna pay your bills? are your friends gonna get you a really cushy job like you want at Northrop so you can sit there and drive that really cool Challenger? And they're going, no. Okay, then you know what? I won't tell if you don't tell. When you get your CAP scores, tell them I got lost in the mail. I said, I don't care what you tell your friends. Just show everybody how smart you are. So we're hoping by starting earlier, having one-on-one conversations with them, conferences with them, that they will go. We're grateful to food services. They're going to be able to provide us with snacks and juices on the days that we're testing our 11th graders. So thank you to food services. The teachers have also or will be participating in professional development on test-taking skills. We started doing some of the research on that. So now it's just a matter of, now that we have the master calendar, or have the calendars, is to just find those minimum days, balance them with the PLC meetings with Solution Tree. I understand that the math coach from KCSOS will be returning next year. So I just need to get his schedule, and then I can work around their schedules, because their time is non-negotiable for both Solution Tree and the KCSOS math intervention coach. And we're going to pay closer attention to the data from the benchmark and the assessments to identify the areas that we require additional intervention. The second goal we have is Rare Earth will decrease our suspension rate school-wide by 5% annually. Because we have such a small population, 2 kids automatically puts me in the red. This year, we, unfortunately, at this point of the year, have matched where we were last year. So we did not decrease. So we did not meet our goal for this year, but August is a new year, and I feel confident that we're gonna be able to get that under control through PBIS, through restorative practices, and reduce our suspension rate at Rare Earth. Goal 3, Rare Earth will increase the number of professional development dates and topics to include restorative practices. We've started this process. We need to do a lot more. The teachers need to be trained on that. And I think that we have one person that actually attends the PBIS training with me. We need to sit down as a team of 2 and then just in-service both campuses, Rare Earth and Abraham Lincoln. Because I know that Abraham Lincoln has 0 suspensions, but
It has 1.
It has 1?
Yeah.
Really? Ooh. Okay. Okay, I guess we had 1. I didn't suspend them. So we're gonna just sit down, train both staffs on that, and then that way we can maintain the 0% or 0% suspension rate at ALIS with only 1 suspension this year, and then decrease the number of students that we have at Rare Earth. Lost myself. Oh, Rare Earth will increase development dates, okay? And again, that's just working around Solution Tree schedule, our math coach from KCSOS. In a matter of weeks, we're going to attend the convention by CCA, that's the California Continuation Education Administration, Education Association. We attend this, we started attending this, I believe 2 years ago. We attended every year. It's a good resource for all the teachers. They get to hear about latest strategies. They get to collaborate with other teachers working at continuation high schools. And for me as an administrator, it gives me an opportunity to actually sit down with people from the state who can give us a heads up on any legislation that could be in process that's going to affect us in the future. We are purchasing Aventi. When we attended the PLC conference, Aventi will support and train new and existing teaching staff on the PLC strategies and best practices. I realize that we get our mentor from Solution Tree once a month, and with WASP next year, it's going to be a little bit crazy. By purchasing this program, I'm going to be getting another teacher at Abraham Lincoln. This gives us an opportunity that once that person comes on board and is unable to attend the PLC conference or PLC Summer Institute with us, that I'll have an opportunity to work with that teacher. And when I'm not available, she has a resource that she can refer to that is going to help her, and then she can bounce it off the other teachers. So when she sits in her PLCs, she's not completely lost because she's working with a team that has over a year of planning and mentoring under their belts. So it's a little bit of a cheat on my part. So we're just going to sit there and try to get her up to speed as quickly as possible. Goal number 4, Rare Earth will increase annually the number of students in each band, standard, nearly math to standard. Rare Earth took a dive in math this year. We lost, I believe, about 15 points. Part of that was due to just scheduling. We got a group of kids come in at the semester and we didn't have enough time to maneuver them to where we had them better distributed. We have a phenomenal math teacher. What my office staff and I are going to be working on over the summer is we are going to identify all of our students and by what courses they need to take. And then we are going to do a better job of grouping them so they can receive concentrated instruction. At the present moment, we have kids who are in Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, and Integrated Math all in the same room. And with one paraeducator, I can't always guarantee that that paraeducator will be in the room during any of the math sessions that the teacher is presently teaching. Goal 5, to increase the number of students improving in mathematics from 100% standard not met to 90% standard met. We're already seeing that this 11th grade class, the 10th graders that we're receiving, they're doing a lot better on the benchmarks in mathematics. So we are very optimistic that if we continue working with them and grouping them to where the teacher will be most effective, that we will grow by a minimum of 10%. Lastly, goal 6, to increase family engagement by 10%. We're gonna send a survey home at the end of this year, basically just to ask the parents how this year went. Do they have any suggestions for the new year? And then to just explain to them the importance of the committees and ask for their commitment. We're also going to be providing refreshments at events, provide flexible time to accommodate families and a translator besides me, and if necessary, provide childcare. Refreshments was actually a suggestion from a solution tree person. The flexible time to accommodate families. At the present moment, the families of Rare Earth, I won't say they're evenly split, but we have a lot of parents that work the day shift. Some parents work the night shift. And I've got, I think, 3 parents that work the graveyard shift. So what this is going to mean is that we are possibly going to need to have 2 sessions of the same meeting. One in the morning, that we can call it coffee with the principal. One in the afternoon, that could be whatever we need to cover. And for the graveyard person, that may just involve me actually reaching out to them and giving them a brief synopsis and then just presenting what they need to know. The newsletter did not go out this year. That was my fault through poor planning, but it will go out next year. And then part of the survey is going to ask them to update their information because at the present moment, 5 out of my 69 families have us blocked. So I'm going to go so far as to think positively that they changed their email address and phone numbers and just forgot to update us on the emergency cards. So we're going to ask them to please update their information with us at the end of this year, and then we'll just follow up in the fall when we come back. Well, August, end of summer. Any questions about Rare Earth? And I'll make the font bigger.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are going to take a quick break just to handle some things momentarily. So,
I'm going to motion to recess for 5 minutes.
okay, recess for 5 minutes. Second by Bob. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Did you look at those before the exercise? Way, way, way too long. Please have them fixed before the next
This is where things were that one that I gave you before things got cut. What the 3%, 8%, and 6%, what it looks like, keeping all of that the same. Then down at the very bottom is where things currently are. And then the percent 6%. So there's,
Yeah, I know.
Highlight what you
There's a company called serve, you know,
Okay, guys. We're almost there, guys. Okay, so your motion to go back,
So moved.
come back from our recess.
So moved by Bob, second by, all in favor?
Aye. Alright.
And this time we have, who's been hired on college campus, Mr. Bashman.
I'm not used to being last than anything else. You know, I missed most of that. You want to try that? No.
Your response too good.
All right, 5 minutes, guys. All right, the first goal, you got the drift of all this already. So first goal is to increase college and career, number of students who are college and career ready. And the thing in red is, that means it's tied to the LCAP academic achievement. And how are we gonna accomplish that? We have the college and career coordinator who is targeting the subgroups that need to be more equitable with the rest of the student body. And that's the African American kids and then the EL kids. Offer more AP classes or honors classes. That's been increasing. And also the college and career coordinator. He needs to spend more time, invest more time assessing student transcripts to make sure that we're hitting everybody and not doing it haphazardly. And have it school-wide, increase the number of kids enrolled and retain the number of kids from year to year. That's goal number 1. Goal number 2 is about mental health, the SEL component. That's still going on. And this ties into the family engagement aspect in the LCAP. How are we gonna do this? We have more access to the school counselors, make sure that the kids have access to the mental health therapist. Access to online software. We have 2 apps or 2 programs, Gaggle, I almost said Google, Gaggle and Stop It. So those programs are anonymous reporting systems, and we get kids who need help, they put in the information in there. Next, how do we increase the mental health service? By having more parent nights or student nights. We've had a couple of those already. And the old-fashioned flyers using social media. We are adding, this is for next year too, we're adding a homeroom. We're building the characters from. We implemented it on a pilot basis, on Wednesdays, period 3. And now it's gonna be a homeroom in the master schedule. We've hired an alternative to suspension teacher. That's in the making already. And we have measures to improve attendance. As you all may notice, we tend to win the attendance on punch. Okay. Goal number 3 is about attendance, parent involvement, parent attendance in all events. And this ties into the engagement aspect in the LCAP. How are we gonna accomplish this? Basic stuff again, using social media. We don't have a problem getting parents to attend anything at the school. In fact, we kind of max out on the seats. And CTE advisory committee meetings are continuing. We have required school site counseling ELAC meetings, and then the DAC and the DLAC version of that. We have Avid Family Nights, have picked up Achiever trips. We have 2 already. The medieval times, and we have 1 more coming up. And the Parent and Community Center is tied into what
we have at the school to involve the parents. We had our first peak here and we had 25 families or 25 graduates. So that's a great accomplishment. Yes, fam, thank you very much. She was waiting like that. Goal number 4 is probably the most important of all of them, the metric that makes or breaks us. And I learned that more again yesterday from when our WASP came to visit us. We have a plan in place. We actually know what to do. We just have to do it with fidelity. And that involves things like, we're gonna increase the math score. We want to increase math score more. We wanna build back where we lost a few points in language arts. And we're not leaving out CAS science. So 3 areas, we're gonna use the same strategies to accomplish the improvement goal. How are we gonna do that also? We have interim practice. There's a place for that, the IABs, math and English. We have to increase the rigor through enrollment of more kids, have all kids access higher level math courses, continue with the AP classes. We have a few. We're gonna grow that, try to grow it a couple every year. Likewise with the honors classes. But we're also monitoring the scores on the AP, how the kids perform, and balancing that with the honors classes. An intensive math clinic is a proven strategy that makes a huge difference. I came from the British school system, and there's a place for that. A month before finals or the exams, they tend to shut down and do a lot of review and rehearsal and drill and kill. Cramming, we call it. After school tutoring, we have 2 days a week. That's, it's something better than nothing. We have a teacher who's doing it. We have the credit retrieval going on also. And we have the support of coaches every month in the school. We have county people coming in, and we have the solution tree guy coming in, and all core subject areas are benefiting. And goal number 4. I'm still on goal number 4. County identified that we had to target 2 particular subgroups, African Americans and students with disabilities. So within the broad goal, we are concentrating on the points they lost and how to build that back up. And it's the same strategies we're using again. And let's see, science, the areas that we need to concentrate on based on the data, students with disabilities and the English learner students. Finally, goal number 5, improving LPAC test scores. When we improve LPAC test scores, it kind of translates into increasing the reclassification rate. The goal is 5% annually. That's sufficient. And if you look at this one sentence, I'm sure you could read this one. Almost half the kids progressed by 1 level with the LPAC. That's a pretty good accomplishment, doubling the amount from the previous year. How are we gonna do this? Very simple. Designated ELD, there's 2 kinds of ELD. Designated 57 minutes, integrated, also going on at the same time. The use of the academic counselors, an area that was overlooked before I took over, and making sure that the English learners are getting equal time with the counselors, so the transcripts are being checked and monitored, and the A through G requirements are in place. And that counts coordinator, Mr. Noderman. He's assessing the transcripts. I just said that. And lastly, the practice test. Just like the IABs, there's an LPAC practice test that needs to be done with fidelity. And I think that was it. My 5 goals. And I just put that up there in case you had a question on that.
So did we do any cramming? Are we doing any cramming before the state testing for the high school kids now?
Are we doing any crowding? This is a plan for next year. I've tried it in the past as a principal in another school, another district. And to me, I felt it made a difference because if you review something right before you take a test, you might know it better than if you didn't review it right before the test.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, so that's something I want to push for next year. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Bajna, one thing I just wanted to ask you about is we talked at length about making sure that an area that I'm very concerned about is that students take the math test with the math teacher and students take the English portion with their English teacher. Is that is happening this year?
That is happening from April 15th until it's over. We have that in place.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
And then, so thank you, team, for presenting the SIPSAs. The SIPSAs are aligned to our LCAP goals, and we'd like to thank Ms. Gaines board for their support and ongoing professional development, like the PLCs. Each sites have their coaches, and also ongoing training with PBIS and AVID. So that's being reflected in the things that we're seeing as we have ongoing PD for the team members, and all that's also linked and connected to our LCAP. Also, the achiever trips for incentives to help motivate students in terms of attendance, academics, behavior, and so forth. As the administrators mentioned in their presentations there.
And then item C for yourself, Mr. Mendez, Dr. Mendez.
Oh, yes, for item C, yes, approve. This is a differentiated mirror for young people, a history of multicultural America by Ronald Takaki, and adopted by Rebecca Stepoff. So what we're propose is for the board to consider this as either the main or the principal book for ethnic studies. It's our feedback was in our feedback with the ethnic studies committee is that it's student friendly, teacher friendly. The topics are they emphasize like an introductory point of view, and the ethnic studies course focuses on awareness, a lot of front loading of awareness in terms of promoting understanding and connecting people together, in terms of understanding different challenges that people have encountered throughout time and how they have overcome some of those challenges. So that's what ethnic studies kind of like in a nutshell is about. There's a lot more depth in it. But just kind of like a brief feedback from the ethnic studies committee. They're recommending this book here, and this book is being used by other districts, as was mentioned in the past, such as Delano High School, Curran High School, Fresno Unified School District as well. And the book also has a teaching guide that is connected. It goes along with the book. The teacher can use that to help provide like prompts, discussion questions for students as well in the class, and to take a deeper dive into different topics within ethnic studies. Okay, so this is, once again, the book that we are, Ethnic Studies Committee is recommending and proposing to board. This is the Associated Teacher's Guide that goes along with it, which is this is a printed copy, but this teacher's guide, as we scroll down, they have different discussion questions and prompts in the teacher's guide. Okay. Do you have any questions regarding the book and or the teacher's guide? No questions?
I will make a motion that we accept the
No second.
Motion by Gutierrez, second by Vincelette, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll say, like, if you guys get a chance, read it, it's really good, it's really good. Okay, business and operations, approve AB 1200, disclosure costs and approval of the tentative agreement with the bargaining unit, with the Roseman Teachers Association, Mr. Irving.
Alrighty, so AB 1200 is a statute that gives county offices fiscal oversights over school districts. So as part of the interim and budget board approves certification, it goes to the county, they get a thumbs up, thumbs down. Similarly, they do the same thing with bargaining unit contracts because it, as fiscal oversight and as much of our budget is salary and benefits, it's a, going concern for county offices to make sure that the districts are staying within their bounds fiscally. So this disclosure for this contract would be an additional $2.2 million given the increase in salary, benefits, changes to longevity, master's degree, additional points of compensation within the contract. So that's it for me. Any questions on anything?
I will make a motion to accept the disclosure.
Motion by Gutierrez, second by Schminsky, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approve the revised tentative agreement between the Southern Kern Unified School District and the Roseman Teachers Association collective bargaining agreement for July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2024, dated March 15th, 2024. Mrs. Gaines.
Yes, Madam President, page 75 of your board agenda, you will see the tentative agreement between SKUSD and RTA. I just want to say that again, it was a pleasure took us a little time, but I think both sides were very pleased with the outcome of this tentative agreement. At this time, I'd like to ask the Board of Trustees to approve this so that we can get everybody paid.
I'll go ahead and motion.
Take the motion by Vincelette, seconded by Brendan, all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. All right, approve the revised 2023-2024 salary schedules for certificated administration and classified management, confidential and supervisory, and classified to reflect a 0.5% increase. Mr. Irving.
Alrighty, so these salary schedules were already approved at 5.5% earlier this year following negotiations with CSEA. Now that the tentative agreement with RTA has been approved, the on-schedule increase for teachers was 6%, so this would bring everybody in line for that extra 0.5%.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Motion by Gutierrez, second by Vincelette, all in favor? Aye. Alrighty, personnel items, Mrs. Hargis.
I would suggest that you approve the personnel items as written.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second by Vincelette, all in favor? Aye. Okay.
Motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Second by Brendan, all in favor? Aye.